Actually.
Not how the Flash runs.
Batman is Nas. Justin is the Flash. Superman is Jersey.
They have to release the movie at this point.
Are you serious?
Flashpoint universe.
This is just my opinion on this.
Okay, here we go.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Nerd or Nothing, where we talk about everything in the nerd realm. My name is Justin, but you guys can call me Flashmaster. We have a great episode lined up for you guys today, so make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and smash that notification bell. Enjoy.
Welcome everybody back to the Nerd or Nothing podcast. In today's podcast, we're going to be talking about the path that DC is taking in the current DCEU movies, if we agree with it or not, and what would we do to change anything.
Bring Henry Cavill back.
Bring Henry Cavill back, yes.
First off, get rid of Ezra Miller and find a good actor for
Thank
the
you.
Flash. Like, just how he runs is just... No, that is not how the Flash runs.
Well, I had issue with not only just like how he runs, but the demeanor of Barry Allen. Barry Allen wasn't this, stupid like kind of guy.
No.
He's a forensic chemist. He's a CSI.
He's a scientist.
He's intelligent. And he thinks like faster than anybody can move.
Like one of my favorite depictions of whenever Flash is like doing his investigation is the first episode of the CW Flash is whenever like it shows like the how it's going through his head, like the tire tracks and everything, and how he just quickly processes all that information. I'm just like, I mean, the Flash can process information at less than an attosecond. Like, that is insane.
Yeah, I completely agree that Ezra Miller should be gone. I agree that majority of the characters that are gone right now should be back, except for Ben Affleck. I'm okay with him not being back. But Henry Cavill, I feel, is one of the biggest hurt pieces to the entire DCEU.
Essential.
Yeah.
He's essential.
Like Man of Steel,
Absolutely,
Man of
100%.
Steel, and Jers. I don't know how you feel about it because I know Superman is your character, but Man of Steel was probably my favorite Superman movie of all time.
It was a beautiful movie. And I'm just
Oh, yeah.
jumping in before Jers. That was a beautiful Paramount movie of this time period. That was epic.
For Man of Steel to only have 56% on Rotten Tomatoes. Once I saw that, that was when I started ignoring some of what the critics put out because Man of Steel was phenomenal top to bottom.
Yep.
Hans Zimmer.
That music, yo.
Just everything about that. Henry Cavill's performance. Like, if you want to critique it, the biggest thing I could say that he could have done better was his Clark Kent. Clark Kent, wasn't that suave and confident. You know what I mean? That was the only knock I can give that movie. If I had to pick something, man, that movie was outstanding.
It was hard to contain his swollenness, though. Yo, he got so big for that movie. I mean, to play a news guy at, the Daily Planet, and he's just mad big, yo. It just...
But just for the record, so everyone knows how Batman is Nas's character, the Flash. Justin is the Flash. Superman is Jersey's. If it's about Superman, he is the one.
I found out information about how he can perceive events at less than an attosecond, Flash, and how he can think at the speed of light. So just imagine just how fast he's processing all that information. Like, one person went into it.
Is that with the Speed Force, or is that prior to him getting the Speed Force?
That is with his Speed Force.
Okay.
With him having that access, one person went like into details of it, like scientific stuff, saying that like with him being able to perceive events less than an attosecond, there is potential that he could see events a little bit before they even happen. Just that type of stuff.
It's almost like he has a foresight for a few seconds.
Exactly.
So the one that I was looking forward to the most was Black Adam. And the fact that after that movie came out, we find out that they canned everyone. I don't know. Is he tanking it on purpose or?
And this is just my opinion on this. I think the only reason he didn't get rid of Ezra Miller is because Ezra Miller's movie is supposed to be the Flashpoint. If anybody doesn't know, the Flashpoint paradox is whenever the Flash goes back in time, saves his mother, and it completely changes the entire story. It basically, instead of Martha and Thomas Wayne dying in that alley, it was Bruce Wayne that died, and then Martha Wayne went crazy and became the Joker, and his father became Batman, who wields guns. He ended up losing his Speed Force powers. And if you remember, if anybody remembers in the trailer for the Flashpoint, they showed a glimpse of a Batmobile underneath a cloak, and it was Michael Keaton's Batmobile.
They even showed the spiky.
So
if I'm not
There we go.
mistaken, I do believe I heard something about bringing back Michael Keaton's Batman, Christian Bale's Batman. There was something about bringing those versions back into this Flashpoint universe.
And I think with them keeping Ezra Miller as the Flash, they can absolutely change the story any way they want, because it's the same thing that they did in the comics. Without the Flash, there is no DC. I'll go on record saying that. Without the Flash being able to create a multiverse, being able to travel between universes and create different dimensions, there is no DC universe that translates. Because in this situation, we can easily take away anything that was wrong in the DC EU up to this point, and then put in new actors and actresses into those new roles and start fresh. Do I feel like it might be too late for DC? Yeah, but I'd be interested to see how they might make that happen.
I don't think it's too late, though.
Do you think that he's stealing Marvel's
No Way Home?
like
I was thinking
Spider-Man?
the same thing.
Yeah,
I was thinking the
he's
same
stealing?
thing.
Well,
No, because Flashpoint was already in production prior to No Way Home coming out. Remember, when this Flash was introduced, it was in 2017 with Justice League. So Snyder had already probably had because even in the Justice League movie, or was it Batman vs Superman, where he's like, "Am I too early? It's Lois. It was always her." That scene, that was an indication on what they were going to do with the Flash's character. So I'm going to say no, they did not steal Marvel's idea. It's just that it's taken them a long time to get it up and running.
Yeah, and I think either way you look at it, both companies kind of steal each other's ideas anyway. They did this in the comics a long time ago, where they have a multiverse angle. We had the Crisis on Infinite Earths. Now we've got the whole multiverse angle and the Quantumania with Ant-Man going on. So I think it was always bound to happen. I just think that DC had the idea to start with their bread and butter of Flashpoint then before Marvel decided to go into it after they did everything with Infinity Wars and Endgame.
So I think Flash is done, and the reason they're saying they're keeping Ezra Miller on is because they have to release the movie at this point. Like, with everything that he's done, in real life with his criminal activity and whatever else and other allegations, they got to put the movie out, because it's too late in the game to take him out, throw in a random actor, and roll this thing out by November, whenever they're going to roll it out.
Do I believe that they absolutely can change everything that they've done? Sure. I think what James Gunn is planning to do is introduce a much younger cast of superheroes. Like, I think we're going to get a younger Flash. I think we've already got the younger Batman with Robert Pattinson. I think we're going to get a younger Aquaman. I feel like they're just trying to revamp everything that they've already messed up. And it makes sense. If they could do it in the series, so if you remember back to the Flashpoint, or the Flash series in the Arrowverse, there was a crossover between Ezra Miller and Grant Gustin's Flash.
Right.
So I think it's absolutely possible for them to make something happen. I'm just curious. Go ahead.
Isn't Robert Pattinson like 42?
No, I don't think so.
No.
If you're saying you're going younger, if James Gunn approach is to go younger, you got a 42-year-old actor to play Batman. Yes, he looks younger, But if you're gonna go that route,
So-
fully immerse yourself. Like
so
go.
Robert Pattinson's our age, 36.
Yeah, he's
That's
not.
close to 42.
Nah, is it-
But Henry Cavill is only like 33, 34. So
But
why not
one
keep
thing
him?
with Flashpoint, like whenever, because in the comics, whenever he comes back from after everything that happens, there is that potential to go back in time, like to closer whenever Flash first started out and everything, and they could revamp the actor for the Flash and give him a good starting story to where you have a good movie for the Flash going forward and a good story in the DC cinematic universe.
using him as an eraser?
So
Yeah,
Ooh.
I just
honestly.
want to give props to the fact that when they're starting in the Flash TV show, when they're starting to do all the Flash point stuff, that they went back and they actually got John Wesley Shipp to do the old
Oh, yeah.
Flash.
Oh yeah.
And
The one
he
that
was in it
I
from the
grew
very
up with.
beginning. John
But
Wesley
the
Shipp
one
was
that
in it
I
from the
grew
very beginning and everything. They had him in it since day one. Like
Yeah.
he was his dad. Like that.
But,
That
I
is
mean-
what got me. It was awesome.
The Flash being an eraser, I think is absolutely it makes sense because it's already been done. If you look at the Arrowverse series, remember whenever he erased John Diggle's daughter?
Exactly. Yep.
Oh yeah, yes.
And now his daughter went to him having a son.
Or from Sarah
Like
to
when it's
Yep.
literally from how Thawne explained it to Barry. You're just like a sonic boom. You're making a time boom, and you are altering events whenever you go back in time. And whenever you come back in time, no matter how you try to piece it back together, you can't piece it back exactly together.
It's like that movie Butterfly Effect with Ashton Kutcher.
Oh, man, great movie.
Good example.
Yeah.
Right.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
But that is what I'm hoping that they go for. Like, is they use this Flashpoint movie as an eraser, exactly what it would be, to revamp
think
it,
so.
and that would be the only thing I could see keeping Ezra Miller in.
Here's a question, guys. If they always intended to do the Flashpoint paradox, is it ironic that James Gunn is now coming on board and cleaning ship? Or was that always contemplated with Zack Snyder's version? Like, was he going to do Flashpoint and maintain everything? You see what I'm
Good.
saying?
Good
See what you
question.
mean?
Yeah, it feels like he's cleaning house. I don't feel like he's going to, keep with Snyder's, Justice League version. I feel like it's going to completely change everything. I think it's just an ironic coincidence that it's happening this way, because James Gunn coming from Guardians of the Galaxy, I don't feel like that's as noticeable as, getting any of the Russo brothers involved or anything like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, because otherwise, The Rock wouldn't have gotten so pissed off. If this was planned,
The Rock
Yeah.
ruins movies.
Yeah, like if it was
so
planned,
mad, man.
I will say this. And Jers, you made this point with Jamie Foxx in a lot of different movies. When I look at The Rock, I feel like I see The Rock in almost every movie he does.
Yep.
But I will say with Black Adam, I didn't really feel that.
thank you.
I didn't really
Honestly,
feel.
I agree.
Because
Like-
we didn't talk about this. Thank
So are
you.
you
I
saying
felt the same way. Oh wow.
Are you saying that Rock as Black Adam was the best acting that he's done?
So would I say it's the best acting that he's done? Probably not. However, when I typically see The Rock in any kind of movie, you expect him to do like one of his people's eyebrow kind of thing, bring one of his
Baywatch.
slogans from whenever he was in WWE and whatnot. But here it's like, okay, this is basically the portrayal of Black Adam I was expecting.
The Rock did better acting in the beginning of his career than he's doing now.
Whoa.
I can agree with that. I can agree with that.
I'd
No,
have to fight
no,
you. I have to fight
no.
both of y'all on that one. Nah.
No,
I'm gonna tell
absolutely not.
you why.
I'd have to disagree as well.
He's gotten to a point where he can walk into any movie or franchise and pretty much be himself. Pain and Gain, he was himself. Hobbs and Shaw, he was himself. Fast
Any
and
of the
Furious,
Fast and the
he was
Furious.
himself. Rampage, he was himself. The only movie you can probably look at and say where he tried to do a bit of acting
Be
with
cool.
Central Intelligence with Kevin Hart, where he was trying to be funny, and he's hilarious, but like he's himself.
Come on, son. Listen, you got Ryan Reynolds who acts like himself in every movie. This is not hate. This is not hate against Ryan Reynolds because I like Ryan Reynolds. I like him in
Which is why he's a great Deadpool.
I think that's because a lot of the roles that Ryan Reynolds gets are curated to him. And that's why I think Black Adam was really good, because Black Adam was curated towards The Rock for at least 7 years now. I remember an interview that The Rock had a long time ago before he even actually got in, like was talked about for Black Adam. He said, you know, I'm hoping to do something with DC. I'm in talks with them and I can't really say much about it, but all you got to do is say the word.
He willed this movie to happen. But as soon as he made this movie happen, DC exploded.
I don't feel like we could put this all on The Rock, because we got to remember
I'm
Gal
not
Gadot
look.
was canceled before that.
I'm not
Yeah.
hating. And look, believe it or not, I'm a huge Rock fan. I pretty much seen everything he's done. I'm definitely
you?
not hating on him. But what I'm saying is, if I'm looking at objectively, he is a 6'5", 250 plus muscular man who has enough backing and credentials to pretty much, and his own production studio, he can essentially
He can
say,
walk in and
"I
do
wanna this
anything."
movie." So whether it's good or not, he's a box office draw. You're gonna go see the movie because it's The Rock.
The whole thing was, do we like the direction they're going? So apparently it was a box office draw. He's such a huge box office draw, but they canceled. They annexed his behind. So I don't understand. Did you not like Black Adam?
I thought Black Adam was good. I thought it was cool because one, I didn't know the story of Black Adam, so I got a little bit of history. But at the same time, Kahndaq is supposed to be a city in the Middle East, but Black Adam shows up with a Brooklyn accent. Like that just threw me off. He's like, "Yo, you're the protector of Kahndaq." Am I really? You know, I was like, "Whoa!" He didn't even try. That's my point. And if Dave Bautista was in that same role, I think he would have acted better.
Hold
My
up.
man,
Hold up. Jers, did you just do a pretty good casting of who Black Adam should have been? Like, bro, I agree with that 100%. I never even thought about that. I agree with that.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I hate you both. That's awesome.
Dave Bautista is a
Just
better
drop the
actor
mic.
than Dwayne Johnson.
Agreed. Anything I've seen Dave Bautista in, I don't see Dave Bautista. I see that character he's playing. However, you know, and I completely agree with his stance on Guardians of the Galaxy. So there was a recent article that came out about him that he said, "I'm glad that I got killed off for the third one." Like he said, "I'm completely glad."
Like I said originally, Marvel is better than DC.
Yeah, whatever. But anyways, in terms of live action movies, yes.
Only for live action movies.
Right. What I'll say in terms of Guardians of the Galaxy, I was okay with the first one. After that, I was like, this is way too campy. It's too
The first
goofy.
one was amazing.
Yeah, the first one was great. That's what I mean. Like after the first
okay,
one,
fair.
the second one, I was just like, and then they started doing all these extra spin-off series and like Christmas special and whatnot. And I'm like, yo, y'all just turned y'all turned the Guardians of the Galaxy into this comedic relief versus what they actually are. Like Drax is supposed to be closer to Hulk level strength, and we didn't get that in the movies like we should have.
Oh yeah.
100%.
Comedy sells more than
Like the
brooding.
Guardians of the Galaxy video game.
If comedy sells more than brooding, did y'all like Thor: Love and Thunder more than you like the first Thor? Or Thor Ragnarok?
I hated Thor: Love and Thunder.
I did enjoy Thor: Love and Thunder, but not for the comedic
wanted
parts.
more.
I enjoyed Thor:
Yellow
Love and Thunder.
It followed the comics though.
It did. I only
it
enjoyed Thor: Love and Thunder for the redemption of Jane, and you know, seeing mainly like the situation with the gods all together.
That was
Like that was a Christian Bale. Can we talk about how Christian Bale might be like one of the greatest actors?
Oh shit!
How many flops has
100%
Christian Bale ever
on
had?
that one.
Well, you got to define flop. Are you talking box office flop? Are you talking if we're using Rotten Tomatoes score as a flop?
Box
Are we
office.
talking?
We'll go box office.
Oh, you talking about box office?
That's
He's had
different.
Elysium.
I mean, I've never seen him flop.
He's had some box office flops, hasn't he?
I mean, you got to think. No.
Yeah.
You know, I think I would say his worst movie that I was like, well, he played a cameo, or he was the antagonist in Shaft, right? With Samuel L. Jackson. Still a really good movie. That movie wasn't a flop. You know what I mean? I thought that was a good movie. I think most people would say that Shaft was a good movie.
It was just more of a niche movie. Like if you knew
American
Shaft, you knew
Psycho?
Shaft. You know.
Yeah, it's probably the only one that I would say is like, because American Psycho, he did a great job playing that guy. I mean, dude, he really took that role and he did a really good job. So, I mean, just in reference to all of his movies, I'm off the dome. I'm not seeing a movie that he flopped where it was like, oh, that movie was trash.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm
for
thinking about it.
example,
I'm
I
like,
know, again, my
wow.
boy Jared Leto and Morbius. All right, flop.
Terminator
Now I will say
Yeah.
this: you can have a great actor, but even a great actor can't carry a shit script.
No.
That's true. Well, unless you're Denzel Washington, because Denzel Washington could just make something just. He's just. He can make.
But then you're watching it for the actor, which hey, I get it. But you know, even like I don't know, Morbius lost. There's a lot of things to be desired. You know what I mean? I was upset about how they portrayed Morbius, and I felt like they could have done so much more, and they left it on the table. Maybe they were trying to do a setup for Venom, and you gotta hit that home run early, you know.
And this goes back to our previous episode. When should things stop? You know,
That's
when
true.
when should it stop? I mean,
Yeah.
you have all these late phase, and I know Nas can go into this about the late phase of Marvel. Marvel has been exceptional. To Vernon's point, Marvel live action movies are way better than DC. Why? Because they did such a great job writing stories, but now you're trying to intertwine all these crazy stories, trying to, Morbius is trying to tie into Venom, and it's just, there's so much that's going on. You just get lost in.
Let me retract my previous statement. I'm looking over Christian Bale's resume, and Lord,
Yes.
It's extensive.
Yes.
Boss.
Yes.
Extensive.
Yeah.
Yes.
he is a problem. He is a whole problem.
In terms of like what James Gunn's doing, how is this also going to affect the Suicide Squad?
So, all right, if I'll kick this off, I think when he redid the Suicide Squad, I loved his
Yes.
rendition.
Yes.
I did
thought-
too,
I thought it was
honestly.
phenomenal. I thought Peacemaker stole the show.
Big
Mhm.
time.
You know, John Cena, obviously, and he got his own show out of it. But then that kind of led me to, well, how are you going to do this with the rest of DC? DC overall is fairly brooding. Or at least that's how they've been portrayed over a while. So it's like, are you going to make Superman the more upbeat Superman? What are you going to do with Batman? How are you going to make Batman funny? You know what I mean? Because if that's the route that I think James Gunn is kind of leaning towards, is the more comedic route, I want to see how that's all going to translate.
I would hope that they don't make a comedic Batman.
If James Gunn rewrites Batman, then we don't know how they're going to portray him.
I would just hope that it's not a comedic Batman if when we do see a new Batman. I would hope not, because it's just it would never fit. Like we would be back in the Adam West days.
Comedic Batman is like killing joke.
There are some
I don't
times
wanna be
where
back in
Batman
Adam
makes
West
a
days.
pun, but like not ever like a funny Batman. It's like Batman like makes jokes at people more or less.
I see when I say comedic Batman, maybe not the actor or the portrayal of Batman, but Gotham surrounding him. Like I thought a comedic Batman would have been Val Kilmer's depiction of Gotham.
So,
you know what I mean?
So Batman and Robin,
Like-
Batman Forever.
Batman Returns.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, like I don't want to see that anymore.
Can I ask a question really quick though? Are we talking about ways that it could work if he does this, or are we talking about do we feel they're heading in the right direction with DC?
I feel like right now everything that we're talking about is speculation. We have no idea what James Gunn is planning to do. What I would hope is that you keep true to what the comics and the fans have been saying for years, because
Thank you.
Yes.
DC has been detracting from that for a long time, whereas Marvel has been doing a good job of both creating their own story, but still keeping true to the original stories from the comics and animated series.
I
Right.
call bullshit. Because Marvel has the last couple of movies messed a lot of things up.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying
Taskmaster?
I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not saying it's perfect by any means. I'm just saying that there's a lot that they've changed in the DCU with some characters. Like with Superman, like we pretty much got the Superman that we were expecting. With Aquaman, completely changed the story. With Wonder
Yes.
Woman, they changed a lot of the story for Wonder Woman. You know, they introduced a whole story kind of script between Harley Quinn and the Joker that was partially accurate, but partially very much their own story.
The Mandarin in Iron Man.
That
Oh,
still comes from the
God.
comics. That
That's-
still comes from the comics.
But that's accurate as far as
That's
the comics
accurate.
are concerned.
It's
That's
accurate.
accurate.
That's comic accurate.
That the Mandarin was an actor.
Yes.
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 Come on.
Yeah.
That's
that
comic
was
book accurate. The
Mhm.
like
Comic
one
book
of the
accurate,
main
brother.
things from Marvel that wasn't comic book accurate that kind of upset me in the end of Guardians of the Galaxy 2 when we saw that gold pod. That was supposed to be Adam Warlock.
Mhm.
And Adam Warlock was the one that was supposed to initially kill Thanos. But they ended up not introducing him. We're going to get him later with
Will Poulter.
yes.
Yeah.
Who came from what was Maze Runner?
Mm-hmm.
I gotta say, Will Poulter did some phenomenal changes to himself to be part of this movie.
Yeah, he
That's
grew
part
up.
of the contract.
He
That
grew
Marvel
up.
diet
Yeah,
is
he
real.
grew up.
He grew up. That's pretty
Well,
much
not
it.
only did he grow up, he bulked up.
I mean,
I
yeah,
mean,
he grew up.
but he doesn't look the nerdy little
Yeah, because he's
pissant.
29 now. He
Excuse
grew
my
up.
language,
He
but,
grew up. He's 29. He grew up. Like,
but think about him in Narnia. I mean, if
I mean,
you've
he was
ever
a kid.
seen Narnia-
He was a kid.
Yeah.
Wait, what
Yeah.
was
So
it?
in the
What was that last
Chronicles,
one?
in the Chronicles of Narnia, let's see, he was born in 93. So would that make him 17?
Oh my gosh.
He was
It came out
17.
in 2010.
The movie came out in 2010. Chronicles
2010.
of Narnia: The
Yeah.
Voyage of the Dawn Treader. Yeah, so he was
That's
17. Maze Runner, he would have been 21.
Alrighty, everyone. Unfortunately, that is the end of our episode for today. So if you liked the conversation, go ahead and let us know in the comments below. Remember to like and subscribe, and always keep it nerd or nothing. See ya.